here for I Have Opinions. So I just finished watching the Coming to America movie, and I've been hearing a lot of people say that they didn't think it was as funny as the first, that it was corny, it was cheesy, it was trash. And then you had some people who said that it was still a good movie. They enjoyed it, whatever, whatever. I'm one of those people. I enjoyed the movie still. It's not as funny as the first, but I mean, come on, let's be for real. The first movie was 30 years ago, so a lot has changed since then. Well, no, not 30. Almost 33 years ago, but still. I was just born when I think the movie came out. So, the original Coming to America is like a cult classic. Like it's like a black movie personified with how many cameos and how many celebrities was in it. And I feel like this one was the same. Now, spoiler alert, if you have not seen the movie, do not continue watching this recap, because I am going to be talking about certain scenes in the movie, certain characters and stuff. So please, I do not want to spoil it for you. So if you have not seen the movie, stop the video now. If you continue on, don't be mad at me because I spoiled the movie for you because I told you to stop. Now, so yeah, pretty much what I liked about the movie was the nostalgia of it. Most sequels don't really bring back the original cast of the first movie. Like I said, Coming to America was 30 plus years ago, okay? I feel like all in all, even if you think this movie was terrible, if you think it was good, be appreciative that the majority of the cast in this movie is still alive. Eddie Murphy is still alive. James Earl Jones. We gotta give that man his flowers, because that man is forever playing a king, and he don't miss a beat. He was Mufasa a couple of years ago, and he came back to be King Jaffe Joffa. Come on, son. Give that man his flowers. Please give James Earl Jones his flowers. Vanessa Bell Calloway, even though, she came back as Amani Aziz. I'm mad they had her barking still 30 plus years later. But anyway, who else? Let me see. The Reverend, the Mighty Sharp Barbershop Guys, Garcelle Bouvet. Even though she still didn't have she didn't talk in the first one, so she didn't talk in this one either, but her presence was known. Whom else? The Reverend, Randy Watson, Louis at McDowell's. I forgot his name in the movie, but he worked at McDowell's. Lisa's father, Cleo McDowell. All of these people still alive, still kicking, still well. I was appreciative of that. I was appreciative that most of the cast was still like able to come and do this movie. And then the cameos made it pop too. Rick Ross is in there, from what I heard, where they filmed it. That was at Rick Ross' actual house. So I'm like, because that's a big house. So Rick Ross played Wesley Snipes, I think his general. Not his general, but like his second in command or whatever. And Rotimi, Andre Coleman from Power, played his son. Tiana Taylor played his daughter. Whom else? Gladys Knight was there performing, and the song she sang was like making fun of Akeem's character because he had no son, he just got daughters. Salt and Pepper was there, and Vogue was there. And the thing that kind of like troubled me with both of them being there was like, dang, y'all ain't even the original groups no more. Like, Salt and Pepper is just Salt and Pepper, no Spinderella. We know why. And Vogue used to be a quartet. They've been a trio for years, and the only two members that are like original is Cindy and Terry. Rona Bennett been with them for a while. She was the girl that was on Jamie Foxx show with the beautiful voice. She got a voice on her. But yeah, just looking at that, I'm like, dang. these ain't even the OG. Like, well, Salt and Pepper, yes, but like in Vogue, I was like, dang. Like, it's just crazy to see how much has changed since 30 plus years ago. But yeah, who else? Mike Michael Blackson was in there as like the announcer, the guy who played Oha. She's your queen to be. And he even sung the introduction to What a Man, and they remixed it to What a King or whatever. He was still like, he's still there. Trevor Noah played I guess like a journalist for CNN. He was funny. Dikembe Mutombo was in there. DeVito sung at the end. Lunel was in it, and she played Akeem's son's, I think his aunt or something. Tracy Morgan played his uncle. Leslie Jones played his mom. Like, it was like the cameos and the casting wasn't bad. It was good. So pretty much the storyline is, you know, Akeem only has daughters, and believe it or not, his daughter Oma is his daughter in real life, Bella Murphy. That's what I was told. And he has daughters, and the traditional rule in Zamunda is that the next heir to the throne has to be a prince, but he has no sons that he knows of. So Wesley Snipes' character, General Izzy, is telling him, like, you know, well, you need to find somebody to like marry so that we can come together, or I have to assassinate you. So out of nowhere, it's revealed that he has a son that's in Queens or whatever, and they tell some story about how they hooked up, and that's when it flashed back to the club scene. And my name is Peaches, and I'm the best. All the DJs want to feel my breast. So yeah, they go back to that scene, and you know, they show parts of the original movie, but what I noticed that they did was, which I thought was pretty clever, but you could still tell if you're a person who's watched Coming to America 1,000,000,001 times like I have, they redid the scene, like they updated it. Like, they had Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall dressed like how they were in the original Coming to America, and they just remade the scene and added the parts to where how he met his son's mom. His son is named Lavelle, and you know, they showed that part or whatever. So Akeem makes it his business to go back to America to find his son, to bring him back as the heir or whatever. But while all of this is going on, his daughter was trained to be the heir to the throne next after him. So it's like he kind of like pushed his daughter to the side because she's a woman. And then again, you know, we're in 2020. Well, this was filmed in 2020, probably a little before that. But, you know, we're in a new millennium or whatever. So, you know, the future can and will be female. So they're still doing the traditional way of things. But even Lisa, the daughter, they feel a way that he's going to America to get a son that he doesn't know to be the heir to the throne. So even the son is like, you know, well, can I even do this? Because y'all got me going through princely tests, and y'all got me doing all of this stuff. And, you know, who am I? I don't deserve this. I don't come from this. I come from, you know, Queens. I come from the grit. I come from, you know. So him and his mom come to Zamunda or whatever, and you know, they living it up. He's excited to have bathers. She's excited to have bathers. And the wardrobe, okay, come on with the colors. Come on with the colors. Come on with the colors. By the way, this is Dianu, black-owned company. Love it. I have the whole outfit, actually. I'll take a picture of it and probably post it for T-shirt Appreciation Tuesdays. Sidebar, shameless plug, all of that. Yeah. But yeah, like, the outfits were still dope, like how they were 30 years ago, and the dancing and entertainment was fly or whatever. Let me just say, Tiana friggin' Taylor. I swear to y'all, Tiana Taylor is my girl crush. I love that woman so much. She is just talent from the top of her head to the bottom of her feet. That girl, she's underrated too. I love her. But yeah, so she's General Izzy's daughter. And the Lavelle comes back to Zamunda with his mom, and they meet. Pretty much it's an arranged marriage or whatever, so they're trying to rush the wedding. And like they said, that he has to go through a princely test. He has to go through a test of courage, of what was the other one, like courage. He has to like overcome his fears and stuff. He has to learn like the ins and outs of being a prince or whatever. So he's learning that or whatever, and it's a little hard, but in the midst of him learning that, he's having his doubts. So he confides in the palace groomer, Marimbe. So she speaks to him, and she says to him, well, listen, follow your dreams, follow your heart, follow what you feel is real within you or whatever. But as they get in depth and they start talking more, they start to fall for each other. Now he knows that he's supposed to be betrothed to Bapoto, who is General Izzy's daughter, but he's falling for Marimbe. And even Marimbe is like, well, this is wrong. You're going to get married soon, blah, 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 blah. So the night before the wedding, Lavelle is spending time with Bapoto, and because he had the conversation with Marimbe, he asked, Bapoto, well, what do you like? What are you interested in? And she's like, whatever it is you like. Whatever movie you like, whatever job you like, which is the same thing that Imani was saying to Akeem 30 plus years ago. So Lavelle is like, no, like this is a new time, so you shouldn't just cater to me. You should have your own mind. You should be free to be yourself, whatever. She's like, but I'm just a wife. All I know is to be a wife, and that's how she was raised, because it's still the tradition out there. So Lavelle was going to speak to Akeem about making changes around Zamunda, and when he went to do that, he overheard General Izzy and Akeem having a conversation where he was like, pretty much you went and used him as a chess pawn just to bring him back to be the heir so that our, families can unite. Good job for manipulating him to come back to Zamunda. Lavelle didn't like that. He took Marimbe and his family went back to Queens. So naturally, everybody's worried that, but if Bapoto and Lavelle don't get married, that the countries that is just gonna fall apart. And plus, Izzy is gonna assassinate Akeem. So while he's off looking for Lavelle, Simi is watching the family, and Mika, who is the oldest daughter, who was supposed to be next in line, Mika comes across Izzy, and he was like, oh, kidnap her or whatever until Akeem comes back. You think she went down without a fight? She whooped his ass, and then Simi, Oma, and Tanashi came in, whipped his ass too. So they pretty much worked it out to where Lavelle could come back and he could be with Marimbe, still marry Marimbe, and him and General Izzy worked it out to where they could be combined or whatever, and Mika could still be the heir to the throne. And then he also had because Lisa was pissed off at him for that. First of all, Lisa and Mary, Leslie Jones' character, had me rolling at that party because, mind you, Lisa is originally from Queens. Yes, she's been the queen of Zamunda, but listen, you could take the girl out of New York, but you can't take the New York out of the girl. So her and Mary at the bar getting sloshed, singing the Humpty dance and whatnot, and then she went up to the room drunk, crown hanging off the side of her head, and she's like, I had one friend, my homegirl from Queens, and you ran her off. I miss her. She's drunk as I don't know what. I was rolling on that part. But they brought back a lot of like I said, the nostalgia from the first movie, and Akeem had one of the, I guess, choir singers or something singing, like they redid To Be Loved, and that's him and Lisa's song or whatever. So that's when he pretty much made the promise that he would make a change in the kingdom, because Lisa felt like, okay, yeah, the law is that there's supposed to be a man, there's supposed to be it's supposed to be passed down to like the males in the family to the heir to the throne, to the heirs to the throne. But they're like, what's the problem? Like it's a new year. Why can't we do it different? Why can't a woman rule Zamunda or whatever? Like, why does it have to be the same rule? Why do we have to follow the same thing? So Akeem pretty much wised up and whatever, tweaked the rules. Now towards the end, Mika is gonna be the next heir to the throne. Lavelle is gonna be the ambassador for America, and it all works out. It worked out for everybody. So it was it was a pretty like dope movie. Like I said, the cameos are really dope. John Legend was in there and he sung Queen to Be, and the Coming to America theme. Let me see who else. They did sing Soul Glow, not the original Soul Glow. That's the only thing I wish they would have done, was bring back the original Soul Glow. What else? But yeah, pretty much everybody was still there with this. Well, Madge Sinclair, of course, who played the Queen, Aeolian. She unfortunately wasn't in this movie because she passed away. I think she passed away shortly after Coming to America. Nope. I'm lying, because she was also the Queen in Lion King. She was Sarabi. But I think like sometime in the 90s, she passed away. God rest her soul. She was a wonderful queen. Eric LaSalle, who played Daryl, wasn't in this movie, of course, because him and Lisa ain't together, so it wouldn't make no sense. Samuel L. Jackson's character wasn't in this movie either, because he was a robber, so that wouldn't have made sense either. But all in all, I enjoyed this movie for the cameos. Like the storyline was pretty much like it was pretty much about tradition and history repeating itself. I did wish that the guy who played his son was a little bit more funny. Like, I didn't really find him funny. I don't think he was supposed to be. I don't know. Leslie Jones' character was hilarious. Leslie Jones is a nut. Any movie that she is in, she is a nut, and I love her. Let me see. Tracy Morgan was in there. Tracy Morgan was okay. He wasn't as funny either. But the guys from Mighty Sharp, they had me rolling. Randy Watson, Sexual Chocolate. And he came and he sung at the end too, at the wedding, to my son, we are family. I got sexual chocolate with me. And naturally, Sweets was like, that boy good. And he like, So they like, listen, you can't beat him, join him. So they all dancing or whatever. And I'm like, this is hilarious. But yeah, it was really good to see Eddie Murphy reprise all of his old roles from the first Coming to America. It was really good to see. Like I said, I appreciate this movie for the fact that the majority of the cast is still here. Not often do you get movies where the majority of the cast, original at that, is still alive and well. Because, that's 30 plus years. That's a long time. So you would have thought like maybe half the people passed away, got ill, whatever. No, everybody still looked good. I mean, you could tell it was a lot of makeup. A lot of makeup had to be used. But other than that, who cares? Like, everybody still looked good. I appreciate this movie for that. And, I think people just had too much of a high expectation for it. Me, I made sure my expectations for this movie wasn't that high, because I knew, like, you can't Coming to America, the first one, you can't. That's like a once in a lifetime cult classic, perfect movie. That's something that you cannot recreate. You could try, which is what they did with this Coming to America, but the first one, no. But I will say that this one is more of like a family oriented movie than the first one was. Like, this one is more so for families. So that's what I noticed about it too. And they also, they like, they made it like updated. Like, now they talking about gentrification. They were talking about sex changes and stuff like that, gender identity, stuff like that. It was updated. Fashion Nova was mentioned in there a couple of times. You even saw the Fashion Nova store and everything. Like, it was still, they brought up Lyft. It was pretty much like an updated version of the original Coming to America. It just wasn't as funny. It had funny moments, don't get me wrong. It wasn't just a snooze fest, but it wasn't as funny as the first one. It was just more so, I would just say updated, an updated version of the original one or whatever. But I enjoyed it. I know a lot of people who said that they didn't. That's okay or whatever. But like I said, my expectations of this one I wasn't expecting for it to be just like the first one. Because if it was just like the first one, then what do we need the second one for? That's how I feel about it. But y'all tell me how y'all feel about it after you have watched it. Like I said earlier, I said spoiler alert. So if you continue watching after I said spoiler alert, and I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Also, don't forget to tell a friend about Tisha on the Tube. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. I appreciate you, and this was I Have Opinion. See you soon. Have a good rest of your night.